Alright, what's going on, everybody? Just gonna do a quick video showing off some of the new content from this new build, or playing some of the new content from this build. Uh, as you can see from the whole screen here, that we have a new road course to play with. It's gonna be the Red Bull Ring. And part of the new build was that they made some major updates to the IR-01, so I kind of wanted to throw that around a bit and play with that. I'll be honest, at this hour that I'm recording this, if I was to try out the Formula V, I would probably fall asleep. It's not a particularly fast car. Um, so I'll be turning a few laps in the IR-01 here at the Red Bull Ring, just kind of showing it off. And then we'll go to the new Nashville Superspeedway with the Gen 7 next gen whatever car, because if you followed, just to check it out, but also if you follow any of the social media that I have, you'll notice that I have a new look on my Gen 6, 7, okay, next gen Mustang. So I'm going to show that off, as well as the new look on uh, the IR-01. Hello, computer. Alright. Need to fix something real quick. I really wish that Sim Commander would start up. Like, if it could detect what car you're in and then load that profile automatically as soon as it detects that it's in the sim. Well, anyway, that gave us a second because car's on track, so I can show the new look to my IR-01. If I can remember which. Here we go. Back off a bit. Alright. So, not 100% happy with it. There's some things I would like to change on it. I just. What's wrong with one? My little wireless keyboard is not cooperating today. There's some things I might change on it. I'm not 100% sold on the look of this. And first off, I am not a car painter by any means. I know how to do it. I know how to get onto paint.net and mess around with it and kind of put something together. Um, but that I'm not good at it. So my stuff usually doesn't look that great. I use the basic templates that iRacing provides, and then I just throw decals on them and change the colors however I want them. So, as with a lot of my cars, I got the Ford Performance stuff on it. Got the channel name real big on the side. I might change that to that darker blue. I was trying to make it stand out a little more with the lighter blue, but eh. Of course, the channel name is here. And yeah, there's a few other spots on the car that you can put decals, like right here. I mean, you can put them anywhere, but there's a couple spaces on the template that allow you to put more decals right around here and up here and everything else. I'm not terribly worried about that. It's not like I actually get paid for this. I just put the Ford stuff on there because I drive the Fords in iRacing, and I drive a Ford in real life, so is what it is. And then I have a lot of Roush stuff on my Mustang, so same thing. I also have this. That's why I have Steeda on here also, because I have Steeda. I have a Steeda H-pipe on it right now. So yeah, and then I'm gonna update the driver suit because I don't like the way this looks. It looks very low quality. So yeah, now that I have Sim Commander running, the wheel isn't going to shake itself off the desk, even though it's harder off the rig, even though it's hard mounted. So as you saw before I got in the car, the mediums come on it by default. I'm just using the iRacing base set, with the only exception being that I changed the steering ratio because I don't like the super tight steering that the car has by default.
Pit lane speed limit is 37 miles per hour.
Set myself up a little higher in the car, not physically. Out of the gate, car is way more stable. I'm probably being too careful with it exiting some corners because I'm so used to it trying to fight. Locking up a little bit. So still the issue of it carrying the inside tire in the middle of the corner. It's just extremely annoying because it's really hard to corner with a lot of confidence, when, especially tight corners, when the inside tire lifts up off the ground. You're only cornering with 3 wheels instead of 4. So notice I'm only getting a 6th gear, and even that's kind of strange to me. I don't know if that's... I know you can adjust the gear ratios in the setup. I think the next... gear setting that you use makes the gears too tall. So like, I'll hit 6th, and then it won't even get past all the yellow lines.
Last lap was at 110.6.
As you saw, this is just with the medium tires, so sit up a little higher in the seat. I know real F1 drivers deal with this. They just kind of have to guess where the corner is. But since I have the ability to move my seat up and down,
please, Adam.
so yeah. Overall, I mean, it drives better. Drives more like I would expect a high downforce open wheel car to drive. As you've seen too, this track is one of the ones that's using the new off-track incident setting. Basically, iRacing made it so that there are some corners where it detects the off-track incident if you put 4 tires off instead of just half, like the center point of the car, or whatever it is. So, it's kind of nice because some of the places like Spa, some places like Spa where it's always felt like it's way too strict. Might help with lowering incident counts a bit.
The lap time was at 1:10.4.
Especially with the DQ limit in place, yeah, it'd be a little bit less stressful now to run around tracks like that. There's corners where it's not uncommon to put 4 off. You'll be able to get away with it a little better. So yeah, part of the problem with, I'm not a great driver. I haven't really driven this car in a long time. We're still waiting for a car now, but the biggest problem I'm having right now is just every time I go to make a corner, it carries the inside tire, so it's locking up really easy. For that reason. But yeah, car is just, I mean,
That lap time was 1:11.6. You're currently 1.2 seconds off your best.
feels a lot better.
1.7 off your
You can-
best. 2/10 off your best in sector 2. Sector 3 is 0.3. Slower than your best.
You can feel that it's doing better, I think. Now I'm just throwing in trash laps because I'm trying to talk and drive at the same time. But I like that you can at least get it out of the pits.
This lap won't count. You've cut the track.
I'd use the voice command to shut Virtue up, but Virtue doesn't recognize my voice. So there goes that. I've seen some gripes in the forums, in Discord, and everything about the car being too easy, and I don't think that's really a car problem. I mean, yeah, you stomp on the gas and it's really, maybe adjust my throttle there, but yeah, you stomp on the gas and the rear end doesn't take off on you like it used to. But I think it's stable enough now where, but I think a lot of the reason why it's easy to to drive, quote unquote. Is because by default, the iRacing setup is
You've just done 109.6.
is tending towards understeer. So I think that, yeah, so yeah, out of the box. Out of the box, the car is going to be kind of easy to drive in the sense that it's not going to try to kill you. To go fast, you're going to have to play around in the garage and really find what settings the car likes, free it up a bit, and make it to where you can hang it out on the ragged edge. And I think once setups get developed that do that, I think the car will go back to being seen as a bit of a challenge, but not so much so that people won't want to drive it.
Well, that was a 109.8. That puts you 0.2 off your best. Sectors 2 and 3 are 0.2 off your best. Sector 1 time is good.
I mean, 'cause that's what I like about the McLaren. It's easy to get the car out of the pits and drive it around the track, but the trick you really got to hustle that car, really push it if you want to go fast. But yeah, if you really want to get going with it, you gotta really put it on its edge. As I was saying, that's one of my favorite aspects about that car is that I have to push what passes for his talent to get the most out of that car, and even in getting the most out of that car, I'm still a second off Alien's pace. Yeah, and I gotta feel like I'm gonna be in that same mode with this thing. Once setups kind of get figured out and I really start working with it.
That lap was a 109.4. Sector 2 and 3 are pretty good. Sector 1 is a 10 off your best.
I think once I play with this more and kind of really get used to it and try to figure out what that limit is, I'll probably be in that same realm. About a second or so off. But, so yeah, I think iRacing did a pretty good job with this thing as far as just getting it to where it makes some kind of sense. I know people are gonna, like I said, I know some of the really fast guys hopped in this thing today and try to hit the bits here if I can make it. Okay.
Look out for the pit speed limit. Engage the limiter. Box in 1,030 feet.
But so I know some of the fast guys were kind of upset because they felt like that this the car I'm gonna start here since those laps were the real fast ones. Because they felt that the car was too easy now, and you know, I get, you know, for aliens, absolutely, yeah, it's gonna be way too easy. But I think for the other, you know, 98% of the service that doesn't fall in that category, the car's going to be much more approachable now. So that's something I'm kind of glad to see. I've wanted to love this car. It's got so much about it that's just so cool. Aside from just, I mean, it's a high downforce open wheeler, which I found I really enjoy. It's stupid fast. It doesn't look that bad, at least from most angles from the side. It looks kind of weird, but otherwise it's not bad. So it's a pretty decent approximation of a modern Formula One car, except without all the hybrid stuff and DRS and whatnot. And that's one thing that I'm kind of interested in is I get that with that with you know, iGPS. So with this car, it'd be nice to just hop in and drive and just outdrive people without having to try to hope that you have boost in the right place or have DRS availability and all that. You know, it's just straight up go out, drive faster than the other guy. So that would be, yeah, that's something that I'm interested in. And of course, that sound, that V10 screaming. I mean, how do you have to love that. So I was all about wanting to drive this car, but it's just, you know, compared to driving the McLaren, it just didn't feel very good, you know. And I mean, I didn't mind that it was hard, but I think there's a difference between being so hard, you know, that people, I think there's a point where it goes from being a challenge to just being frustrating. And in posts on the forums and Discord and stuff, I would, you know, I would mention the MP430, but not because I was trying to say, well, if this car drives this way, so that's how this car should drive, but more of, you know, trying to illustrate that I didn't like this car, or I didn't like driving this car, not because it was a fast open wheel car and was hard to drive, because my main car was a hard to drive fast open wheeler. So I do like the changes that they made. I like that the car is approachable. You can get in it, you can make laps and have a good time. And if you want to go fast, you're going to have to play with the limited setup options to get the most out of it. So I think that'll be interesting to see how that develops. And then obviously the track that we were at was the Red Bull Ring, and I know I didn't talk much about that, but this track, I mean, it was one of my favorites to drive in the F1 series games. I don't think it was in the earlier ones like F1 2010 or 11 or 12 or what have you, but when I bought 18 and 19, I managed to make it to this race in the career modes, and had a really, you know, just, it's a fun track. It's got a nice little, it's fast, it's got a good flow. There's no like Mickey Mouse corners or like crazy stupid chicanes. So uh, I really enjoy driving, and you know, with this car, this track being as fun as it is to drive, I was easily able to do 10 laps right there and not feel bored. Um, my fastest lap in the session was this 109.426. So if I'm there, I imagine once the fast guys get their setups dialed in, they'll probably be around 107-ish. And this was also on medium tires, and you notice I didn't even really start picking up speed until lap 7 or 8. It took, 8 or 9 laps to get the tires going. And that's one of the changes that I think that they made to this car for this season was they adjusted these tires, um, the tire compounds, so that we will hopefully be able to use a little more strategy. Um, So yeah, they're hopefully we'll be able to use a little bit more strategy than just running hard all the time. Maybe we could run mediums in a race, go medium, or go soft hard, or something like that, to try to qualify on softs and then switch over to hards, or after a few laps, or maybe run hards for a whole race, run mediums, run medium or medium soft, depending on what kind of a race we're at, what kind of track we're at, what the tire. There's not much tire wear, I don't think, but the tire heat. Tracks that maybe generate more heat than others. I have a lot of front end wear here because I was locking them up, but something else too. They gave us an aero calculator, so we can make adjustments based on that. I have no idea how to use it. I've never really paid attention to it. I just know that in the McLaren, when I've wanted to change certain things, for example, if I wanted to change the trim on the car from high low to medium downforce, then I would change the trim, and then I would adjust the wings to try to get the same balance. So yeah, that's about as far as that goes. Nothing changed in the chassis, I don't think. Yeah, I don't really think anything changed here other than they moved the front wing from this page to it says tires, but tires / arrow. But final drive, there's 2 settings. You got your differential settings, your engine or your throttle shaping, fuel, which I think will pretty much almost always run full fuel at every race, and then just pit from there. But that's another thing that you can change with the strategy. If you decide to qualify on softs, you can drop your fuel level down to last as long as the soft tires are going to last, and pit and gas up at the same time for your hards, and then take off, and then but those first few laps are going to be blistering because you're going to be on the fastest tires and low fuel. So compared to somebody that maybe starts on hards with the full 21 gallons in it. Those are just ideas. I don't know how that's going to work out. It's going to be different for everybody, I think, and eventually at some point someone's going to find the optimal strategy. But I know in my splits, if we get splits, that's yeah, those strategies are going to be all over the place, and there isn't going to really be an optimal one. It's just going to be whoever gets. I think there's such a wider. I think in the splits that I'm usually in, there's a wider range and skill, and strategy and everything. Whereas you get into like the high splits, the top split or SOF broadcast races, and the guys that are going to run for the Pro Series that I am unfortunately not able to run. not just because I'm not skilled enough, but because I'm an American and the races are not American friendly uh, in terms of timing. But with the SOF races, the big top tier races, those guys probably have teams and engineers and stuff to sit and figure out the optimal strategy. But us normal people that run second split and lower, we're probably gonna, most of us make it up as we go. So I think the variance in strategies will probably play out a little bit better. But still have the same brake system, steering system, dash setup. Um, haven't really figured out how to use the master cylinder settings yet. I know what brake pressure does, brake bias does. I just never really figured out how to use the master cylinder settings right. And then, as you saw earlier, use the steering ratio. Excuse me, talking too much. Um, I used the steering ratio change to make it so that the wheel wasn't as sensitive because this car is very twitchy. So, uh, yeah, that's a different note. So, anyway, that'll do it for the Red Bull Ring and the IR-01. Gonna hop out and jump into test drive with the next gen. Okay. Thought it was under 2022, but I guess not. Nashville Superspeedway. Oh, wait. Check something. Oopsies. I have like 10,000 thoughts that run through my head all at once, so I tend to get lost. So that's what that little side glance was. All right. Where is my stock cars Mustang 2022? Sorry for the delay. Gotta save. I think I have trading paints set to clean up my paint schemes or something like that. So if I don't have a car uploaded to trading paints, then it cleans it out if it's just locally stored. So. Alright, screw it. This is annoying. Best friend just got himself a Camaro. Yeah, so next gen Ford Mustang at Nashville. I have not driven Nashville since NR 2003. And I drove this car a little bit at Darlington early on. There is a video up there of me doing that. So, yeah, this may be kind of ugly. Bear with me. I have no idea if my paint scheme is actually going to work or not, so we'll see when I get out of the car.
Inline speed limit is 45 miles per hour.
So yeah, I've driven this track before in NR 2003. Way back in the day. Take me a minute to learn the line.
That was at 31.0.
So since this isn't a mile and a half, I think iRacing has the next gen cars running the low downforce configuration. That corner's a little bit deceptive. You think
Last lap time was at 30.8.
you're going out, you're not going out, exiting wide enough, and then the next thing you know, you're in the fence. So
That was at 31.0. You're now 0.3. Slower than your best.
I don't know how I feel about this car overall. I played with it at Charlotte a week or two ago.
The lap time was 30.9. You're currently 0.1 off your best.
And all I can say about that is that if I ever develop a case of insomnia, I could just take the next gen car out to a mile and a half, and I'll be able to go back to sleep. So.
lap time was 30.6.
Low downforce configuration of the car isn't awful though. The fact that I just have to roll out of the throttle to get through the corners is a little unsettling, given that I'm just driving
That lap was at 30.7. You're now 0.1 off your best.
default setup. But it doesn't feel too terrible. I can feel the rear end kind of sliding out, but it's not like uncatchable. You know, it's that, okay, here's the edge. Here's how not to jump over it kind of thing. So,
You've just done at 30.7. That puts you 0.1 off your best.
you know what? I forgot. I drove a little bit of this track, and there was an IndyCar game that was out for PlayStation. And around 2004 or 5, somewhere in there. And I remember Nashville was in that game.
That was at 30.8. That puts you 0.2 slower than your best.
I have heard that these cars have like next to no tire degradation. So you can
Just
drive it.
30.7. You're currently 0.2 slower than your best.
You can drive it as hard as you want, and it's not gonna. The car drives the same no matter what you do to it. I don't know. I find I'm A, slower right now, and B, car doesn't handle as well as it did earlier. It's like really tight right there. So, I mean, something's happening with the
Your
tires.
last lap time was at 31.4. You're now 0.8 off your best.
Everybody that says there's no tire degradation, just let me drive the car. I'll at least make the right front degrade. I'm really good at that. Where is pit entry?
What's your speed limit in the pits? Box in 1,610 feet. The track temperature is increasing. It's now 111 Fahrenheit.
Actually, let me go back to when I was in the pits because I can do paint scheme reveal. Thick. Anyway. Now those numbers are not going to look the same because those are the iRacing stamp numbers, because I couldn't get the other to work properly. It's when I finally just said screw it and decided to join this session because it wasn't working right. That said, I would love to be able to get my actual custom numbers to look like that. So I can get the white on the black sort of, but I can't. I haven't been able to get the white on black on blue, so I don't know how to do that. Again, I know how to use paint.net. I don't know how to use it well. So yeah, there it is. It's pretty much exactly the same as the Gen 6 paint scheme, except for I put the channel back here instead of Ford Performance logos and stuff. And then on the front they look kind of janky till you get up here, and then it looks a lot better. So very, very creative with my paint scheme there. I say it looks identical. The only thing I'm not sure of is what to do with this area. Right now I just have it blank. I know you can put sponsor logos here, and I have a version of this that has that. I'm just not sure if I should put them and just be the channel information. I'm not sure if I should put them here or not. Not because I kind of like that it looks still kind of stock like this, and adding logos back here I feel like makes it kind of busy. But then again, at the same time, I'm looking at them like, man, that does look kind of blank, compared to the rest of the car. So, not 100% sure on what I'm going to do there. So, but yeah, so this brings up something else too. With all the hullabaloo in NASCAR circles currently about the location of the numbers on the car. I am a supporter of giant ass door numbers, so I have a giant ass door number. And if NASCAR decides, we're gonna make it,
temps increasing. It's
we're
now
gonna
150.
make it smaller and put it on the quarter panel, or move it forward, or move it back, or whatever. Well, this is iRacing. I can put these numbers wherever the hell I want, so they are gonna stay right here, planted on this door. And I think this proves that you can have a reasonably sized sponsor logo on the quarter panel and still keep your giant door numbers. And then you still have some space here and here to add in more sponsor logos if you so choose, which I'm planning to add a few more. I just need to get time to do so. So there's my door number rant. So yeah, I'll give NASCAR props even though the cars are stuck to the racetrack like white on rice. The sound isn't too bad, and they look good. Much better than the Gen 6, I think. Much more similar to the car that they're supposed to be based on. So I'll give them credit for that. And there's my first whoopsies. The cars do look good, and they do look like the actual cars. They're symmetrical bodies, so these weird flared out sides, that are like flat as a billboard on the current cars are going away, so that's a good thing. So for those reasons, I like the idea of this car. I don't like the 1.5 mile version of this car, but the short track, the shorter oval version of this car doesn't seem too terrible. It's decent enough. So whenever this comes up on the schedule, I might, this track anyway, I might go ahead and run this just because the car's not too terrible to drive. I've heard that they're talking about, the teams are kind of against having multiple different kinds of engine packages. And so they're trying to convince NASCAR, or get NASCAR to approve, or try to get NASCAR to come up with just one engine and aero package that will suit all the racetracks, kind of like the Xfinity trucks have and Cup used to have. I think it would help the teams save some money and parts and whatnot. So hopefully they go that route. I've heard that they're looking at a horsepower number around 600, 650, so that won't be too terrible. Certainly better than 510 that they're running in the All-Star race this weekend and 550 that they run normally. So the only question is how much downforce are they going to have on the car? Are they going to go to the big spoiler and have these cars glued to the racetrack with 600 horsepower, or are they going to use this package at every other track? I think this aero package on the car, based on just my iRacing stuff, this aero package with like 650 horsepower, I think is pretty good, even at places like Atlanta, because it's not so much over the top downforce. The cars are going to be totally glued to the racetrack, but they have enough horsepower to like power out of the corners. Hopefully the guys that'll put the cars back to where the drivers actually have to drive them, and maybe get the Cup Series to be as entertaining as the Xfinity Series. So there's my my rant on the state of NASCAR currently. Yeah, tires really didn't wear out. I mean, I only did 10 laps, but and I was torching the right front as usual, but not terribly. So yeah, this should be fun. I don't know that I'll be doing any racing this week, just because I don't know that there's really anything out there to do. Excuse me. I should have grabbed some water. It's week 13, so it's all unofficial series, and it almost looked like I net coded into the wall. It's all unofficial series. And well, I mean, there are some officials too, but I'm not gonna mess around with those. So I might like record or stream some F1 2020 or something if I get some time, but otherwise, probably not gonna have too much coming out this week, just because there's not a whole lot going on. So, that'll probably about do it for this one. Should have done this with the IR-01 at Red Bull Ring. So yeah, that'll about do it for this preview. We also have the Formula V that came out, and I want to say there was a Porsche GT3 car that came out. I did not buy that, and the Formula V, you'll get to see that whenever I start back up my rookie videos. I'll play around in that car a little bit to work my way up the rookie road ladder when I start those videos back up again. So just wanted to jump in and test this out. I think this video ended up being like way longer than I intended, but yeah, so that's the next gen car at Nashville Superspeedway, and I think I'll call it for a night. And so yeah, thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate it. If you enjoy this stuff, make sure you like the videos, and if you want to see it again, see more stuff, be sure to subscribe. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Catch y'all later.